Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Oguta Roundtable. As you know, Oguta Roundtable is simply a program that connects with Oguta people around the world and discuss issues, discuss issues, and solve issues that have to do with development, culture, and the progression of the Oguta homeland and Oguta people around the world. And today's episode is, as usual, we're going to be talking about something very, very, very important, and that is our capital assets, human development assets. Can we continue to do the same thing every year and expect a different result? And you see, human capacity building is one of those things that you don't see, but yet the effect is felt greatly. And the turnover is not seen immediately, but over a period of time. We have heard people talk about a lot of wonderful Oguta, Amechi, indigents and brothers and sisters who have taken time to build assets, give jobs, create employment for Oguta people, and have empowered generations of our Oguta brothers and sisters. And so, but when they started this, little or no one knew about what they were doing. But over the years, they became household names because of how important human capacity development is. And I can categorically tell you that a country like India took more than 10 years to build its human capacity in the ICT. And now almost 40% of the powerful ICT companies are either led by Indians or supported by Indian workforce. And today I'm excited to introduce to you our brother, Dr. Izogu. Brother Dr. Sunday Izogu, please welcome to Oguta Roundtable.
Thank you, Dr. Hassan. Good evening, sir.
Because can anyone the bani in our traditional greetings?
Okay, Pachama de Buka, Ide Nwana Konaman, Oshiji Oshichi, Oguago, Damaze, Omamesh, Ekerando. Good evening, everybody.
What onye Igbo for the benefit of Nde na Amadi onye Igbo?
Okay, Afambo Izogu Sunday Anthony. Abumosa Izogu Nankeu.
My sister. Yes, I can tell you my sister.
Okay, yes, that's correct. I am a now. Like Oguta, I did in Trinity High School, Oguta.
That's exciting. So, what do you currently do?
I work. I base in Lagos. I stay in PI, Young Street.
Okay.
I work with one of the IOCs in Nigeria.
Gibiko Kawani de Bani Kinibu IOC, no. Makande na Amadi.
Okay, the international company.
Okay.
We deal in exploration and energy production.
Okay. Mbona. Tata, if I need to read you, bo. No boy, then I'm going to build more human capacity among Umuameshi, both young and old. Some people sometimes do what they need to do until a particular age. They now discover that maybe na even abudi if won't get a passion for. So in your you worked in so many places, in so many boards, even if you published books and assisted in publishing of books. So that means you are vast and well knowledgeable across the board. And especially Ameshi Anibokwan Ashakwande you community Potakwa and Epota Nkoma. So then Gani Eshi a build extended human capacity in multiple fields to make our youths and brothers and sisters self-sufficient.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Hassan. In building human capacity, among Oguta youth. It's actually a multifaceted approach that we need to use. It involves everybody. All our members one of the ways to do that is establishing vocational training center in Oguta. And I know there is one already close to, I think, Trinity High School. Came up already. It offers some courses. So if everybody can put hands together, the youth can join in coming to that. There's agricultural technology on that. Entrepreneurship also equip the youth in such training. Even one get down more called like a welder, pipe fitter, hairdressing. Those ones can also be part of it. So in building a human capacity development in Oguta actually involves everybody to, even if you put a vocational center, people may not join in. So, yeah.
Okay, so the building of human capacity, one of the places he mentioned was skill acquisition. Now, if na dichapon is sometimes mande madu choboru, especially for our fresh graduates. Why I say that they want fresh graduates, but we should that with 3 or 4 years working experience.
That's right.
So we find we get those for 3 or 4 years working experience now after Mao Kobu.
No, I have a personal experience. Sometimes when you are doing interview for fresh graduates, somebody said he graduated 4 years ago, and he doesn't have any job experience. You basically, by your seeing at it, it may be that the person is not serious. Job experience must not be in a irrespective of the money. You have to start somewhere to gain the experience, even if it's a free employment. If I should put it that way, you can work for free. Because you have to get experience. Because
where's the paid work experience? They just said 3 years work experience, and what most of our graduates miss. Most of them have the opportunity to go and be interns even while they are in college in some places. And even if they don't pay you, you can start with that. Eventually, when you pick up the skills, by the time I've in or 1 year, you pick up skills, you many worker. The day she know the way they were short the open go moto, Kawonyema allowance. From there, before you know it, you start earning something from your job experience, which what you actually need is the experience. But it can also start eventually paying some of your bills even while you are in school.
That's correct. Emma, most of this is bounce back to pride. Why can't you everything get? You know that kind of mindset. So the person will know 1 year gap, 2 years gap, 3 years gap, no single job experience. Now when you easier I said with that CP, I will graduate 3 years ago. That is where the problem is. So the thing is just that people must start from somewhere. It doesn't need to be big salary. Like I said, it can be free engagement in order to acquire the experience. So these are the things that we need to encourage our youth. If possibly, local government can start creating awareness on such. Because I'm outside, many people are doing that. But I do support our youth to grab their outside the trouser. A Jana buy it at 1,000 around my area. So we need to encourage everybody to just be involved.
One thing our people Amadibu voluntary service. You know, in other places they are voluntary, people volunteer their time to do things. But here in our communities, it's very difficult to find volunteers. In fact, well, even when somebody says he wants to volunteer, and you're looking for volunteers. What be your joy? You're going to help with the volunteers. So they are not even after coming to volunteers in volunteer. It's the stipend that goes with it. If you want the only fire, she will kawobiakwa, and that's kawobiakwa will take off.
That is true. That is why we need all of us to be involved. If your brother, your sister coming to you looking for work, even if there's any little thing, you can, by advice, even if you give the person advice, keep sitting down, talk sense into the person. He will start somewhere. Like everything is not just in giving people money. You never give the person 100,000. The next 2 weeks, he will come again. Uncle, I need money. You give again. That is not a help. Many places in Oguta people can do free service to gain experience in our Oguta setting today. Even somebody can even apply to local government and make free service. There are many hotels that found Oguta after one. There are many. Our general hospital, somebody can work there and get free experience. So these are the human capacity development that we need to also put mind in.
Another this thing is also mentorship. From some of these things, people can actually get mentored. For instance, Oburuna, you want to be a lawyer, and there is a matured lawyer that is in the community. Nothing stops you from pulling close to that person. Nasani Amoto, Nasani Aparenejeni Oji. From there, of course, you learn more things. There are some things that you don't read in books that you gain from discussions. Even in Abuja, you will notice that most businesses in Abuja are concealed in beer parlors. Are signed and sealed at beer parlors. They're only formalized in the office on Monday morning. But most discussions, politics and everything are concluded in very informal settings and circles. So also is education and mentorship. Go on, sir.
If you watch, if you look deeply into entrepreneurship training, it didn't just start in Oguta. It involves full mentorship. Anybody going into entrepreneurship as a training, he must give himself for full training. Some people may be here for 4 years. I will mentor you for 4 years. Even your parents may even pay for that mentorship. You subject the person, you can even in the first few months, if you are lazy, the person goes don't fetch water. To know whether the person has that spirit of humility to serve. After the first 3 months, you can start telling him, go and do this, before you even bring him into the skill that is interested to learn. So after taking the person through the period of character assessment, then you open up for the training. If the person can endure, I bet you after 4 years or even before 4 years, he becomes the master of that entrepreneurship. So that mentorship actually gives a better way to bringing up our youth in Oguta.
From what you just said is very, very key. This thing, I never saw it that way, because it actually takes humility and submission for someone to learn. And if you cannot learn to be humble enough to serve, then you cannot lead. Anyone that wants to lead, become a leader, must first learn to serve. Then you can be served. So it's the Igbo apprenticeship system, which is now studied around the world, actually brings that to bear. And that's why you see that Igbo traders are very humble people. Most of them are very humble. They, once it is their customer, and I noticed that also with Indians. And you see anybody that is humble, from my study now comparing the Igbo apprenticeship program and Indians, if you go to an Indian person's shop, he will make you feel like a god by the time you're leaving his shop. And once you're his customer and he wants your money, he will respect, humble, promise you heaven and earth, sometimes even over-promise, just kizuo afiano. And it shows the role of humility, especially when it comes to marketing. Because sometimes a customer, I had a very terrible experience today, but then it ended up well. A customer I promised at that minute to do a website for in my company, and unfortunately the people who will do those things in my office are doing other jobs. This is just today, and he wanted a flyer for an event. We were just supposed to do an event website. I said, okay, don't worry, I'll squeeze out time and do it before I do my chores. The man started almost acting as if that was. I said, no, I offered to do this for you. But he was now saying that this is the first time he's doing events, blah, things are going wrong. But I almost got upset at one point, and I remember that the key to being a successful business person and a salesperson is not to lose your cool. But I'm saying this to say that by this evening, when the man called, he apologized for putting all the pressure and now acknowledged the fact that he went too far, and also appreciated the fact that I did not lose my cool and promised that we're going to do a lot more business in the coming year. And so it was just a thin line between me losing my cool and keeping it, and humility of service came to play. I'm not saying I'm humble, but this particular one was just at the brink of it. And the only reason why I didn't lose my cool is because this man already confessed that he has never done this before. This is his first time, and I felt like, well, if I don't calm down and absorb him, he might get frustrated in his first job as an entertainer. And so it informed me, and I kept telling myself at every point to calm down, that this will soon be over. And I'm glad that it was over before I knew it.
Yes.
So how else can we informally or formally build capacity among our young people?
Okay, the second point I think we should consider here. You know, we are talking majorly for Oguta people.
Yes.
Having gone through entrepreneurship training, or when the person is going through that training, like the first point. Another one we to consider is access to finance to start. Because if the person finished undergoing such training for a period of time, let's say 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, remember, if the person is even a graduate and he comes out from the training, there is no money to start. That also serves as a miserable system for him. So, well, in the process of such capacity development or training, the community or individuals or even corporate can start making some savings for this person. Even a family can start doing that if they actually have interest in this person. He has graduated, there is no work for him yet, and he's undergoing entrepreneurship training. If he finishes, what next? We should have this in mind. What next in terms of how to start? Because if this person finishes and there's no way to start, he will see as if life is miserable for him. So either the family or the youth, or the Oguta as a group, that have interest in that capacity development should also have a plan to empower the person or the group to at least start small. Though we are already seeing such in Oguta now, somebody is giving to 200,000 for hairstylish and barbers and all that. That's a good way for us to go. So we should also have that in mind too. Thank you, sir.
Bona. Then secondly, there is a very a vice that has been ongoing across the Niger Delta, which Oguta also falls into. This is the issue of empowerment grant misuse, where people are sent for training and they are given grant equipment to set up after the training, and right from the hall who's in with those equipment, they have people waiting to buy them, and they go just quick money. What do you have to say about it, and what's your advice for the youth?
Yes, I think I was in this radio when such was discussed.
Yeah.
Though I wasn't the guest that day, I was listening.
Okay.
If somebody or a group have given money to start, there is a contingency plan that we need to put in place for such. We can call it establishing a monitoring and evaluation framework.
Exactly.
For such that we are already giving out. If you give somebody, say 500,000, he has finished his training and you give him 500,000, that person may have a mind change to divert that money out of the training that he undergo for those periods. So you need to have a monitoring system or a framework. Either every month you send inspectors to check how this person is doing, get the feedback. If he's drawing back from your stipulated plan, you can bring him back for the training immediately before you waste that money. Remember, Oguta has a peer pressure influence. That is one of our major issues. That if you give somebody money now, his friends will come.
Niger Plaza.
Correct. So, and the person may forget his vision of that 4 years in human capacity development.
Yeah.
That peer pressure will just come in and you waste that money. So the body giving that money for empowerment should also set a monitoring team, either quarterly or monthly or 2 monthly, depending, to ensure this person gets balance. Not just giving the money. So this is just my take on it.
Yeah, Mbona. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay. Then another thing I want to talk about is just 1 minute. Let me just check if we have comments.
To ensure this person gets balance. Not just giving the money. So this is just my...
Sorry, are you? But one other thing I wanted to ask is this: what are the oil companies doing? Your view or knowledge, or what can they do to assist in this area? I'm asking you now because you work in their midst. So at least if you don't know the color of the sheet, you would have heard the smell.
Okay, there is a program, yearly program, at least with the little experience I have. Every company signs a memorandum of understanding with the community.
Yeah.
However, this depends on what the community submitted, not what the company intend to do. If the community intent is youth capacity development, the oil company must do towards that. If the community interest is building schools, the company will go towards that. If the community is towards building hospital, now for instance, let's assume that it is for human capital development for the youth. Now the company will have a representative go to the community. We have OCDU, for instance, in Oguta. Then they come to OCDU and demand for youth in each of the villages, the 27 villages we have. And even I'm using Oguta as an example.
Yeah.
Now, if names are being given to this company, the company will do their responsibility. Every oil and gas company have it in their own system enshrined. They don't deviate from that. But in the implementation, it passes back to the community too, because you have your CLO, you have your community representatives. Let it not stop from there, and the company's intent for developing the community stops on the hand of a few hands. So that's just my take there.
So now, like I said, what are they doing, and what can Oguta, considering the fact that our OCDU has not been in well-running, functional operation?
That's correct.
So how can Oguta as a community create pressure group to ensure that we get the best from these opportunities?
Like I was saying, We don't even need to create a pressure group. We already have established community union, which is the OCD.
Yeah.
And each of the villages have the oil landlords, they have their representatives.
Okay.
And all the come to the oil and gas that are operational in Oguta land. And I bet you their obligations are maintained. The oil and gas, they don't deviate from their obligation to the community. However, it may bounce back in limiting that obligation to a few hands. I still repeat that. Because if the company, let's say, liaison officer with the community, have already informed the company what the community wants, since the company doesn't want any breakdown in the activities, they are obliged to do it. Except the company too want to do it by themselves, which sometimes the community will say no, give us to do. It's where the problem is.
Yeah.
Like Oguta, okay, now Senator, give us two persons from each village. Let's involve in urban capital development. The OCD may come up and cost what it takes to do that training for 4 years and tell the company, give us that capital, let's train by ourselves. The company will still not say no. The company will agree with them and release that, and their hands is off because it will be signed.
Yeah.
And when such training is not carried out, nobody will blame the company.
Yeah. And then there have been rumors of something exactly like what you have said now, where some people claim that some of the elites actually monetize benefits to the detriment of the Oguta people. One of the issues have to do with the issue of light. For instance, Ashen and other communities are enjoying steady light, but provided by oil companies, and Oguta is not. But of course, that is speculation, and we cannot dwell on speculations without hardcore evidence. But how can we mitigate against things like that in our communities?
Okay, Dr. Hassan, is very simple. Sincerely, our leaders in Oguta, I think they should also have a change of mind towards human capacity development among our youth. Some companies I know and how they do to develop communities. It is high time in Oguta we stop individual empowerment from the company. We should allow the companies to do it by themselves. If we send a memo now to Ajib, that we need pipe-borne water in Oguta, we need steady electricity. Go to Omo here, you see they have water every street, they have electricity everywhere.
Yeah.
They refused such projects to be given to a contractor or an indigenous contractor. So if it's high time in Oguta, for instance, the issue of electricity, all of us come together and project it, tell the companies, this is what we want. We agree together, do it, we enjoy it. Don't give any of our sons to do that. Definitely it will be functional.
So my other question is now self-help projects. Over the past few years, Oguta has been involved in a lot of self-help projects. In fact, Oguta has done a lot more self-help projects than what most other communities around us. The question is, there are also been rumors and clamors for probe of leaders at various levels because of lack of transparency and sometimes perceived mismanagement of funds. So my question is there any way using modern technology that we can now use software or open source frameworks to monitor and run projects in a manner that everybody can be accountable? Yes, of projects and management, project management and implementation.
Correct. A sort can be put in place too. However, individual capacity development is on free will. If God blesses you and you want to empower people in Oguta, that is you, and that is coming from your pocket.
Yeah.
Your own is to develop your own technology to monitor effectiveness of it. If you receive some criticisms, maybe based on people you are channeling that help to, maybe you are channeling true because you may not be in Oguta.
Yeah.
But if you put your own monitoring system, you'll be getting feedback either on monthly basis, and you'll be happy doing it. But when you are doing it, and some people are somewhere investing your money, telling you stories, until you come down to Oguta during Christmas, you see that all your effort has zero. You're not empty. So whoever that is doing individual capacity building should also try to create a monitoring system, a framework, a technology that will watch the effectiveness of its implementation.
Thank you very much. So, moving forward, what are those areas you think, if any young person watching this program and is confused or needs advice on a career path coming from Oguta, what are those between 1 and 10 key sectors you think they should look at that you think has also been neglected or a lot of people are not seeing, might be a blind spot? But if you have to advise person, what are the 10 key sectors you ask them to try and build capacity in moving forward into the future?
Okay, number one, which everybody should be aware, is that the high rating of tech. So I encourage our youth to go more of tech and explore it well. Because if you watch international Yahoo,
yeah,
most of them are not even intellectuals.
No, they're not.
They are not, because sometimes
they copy and paste.
Some scam mail.
Yeah.
You see some grammatical blunders.
They just copy and paste.
Yes. Now, my advice is, let's try to imbibe a current marketing system that can sell career tomorrow, which is one of them is tech.
Tech, okay.
Now the second one, yes. Second one is energy is replacing oil shortly in the few time to come. So let's not just be saying oil company, oil company, oil company. Solar energy, compressed natural gas. Most of our, if you watch the trend of involvement of our economy now,
Yeah.
shortly we may not be even using fuel-powered
Fossil fuel.
vehicles.
Yeah. Fossil
We
fuels.
may start
Yeah.
using, yes, we may start using electricity-powered or
Electric
compressed
cars.
natural gas powered.
Gas powered, yeah.
So this should be a side we need to be putting eye towards,
So, okay.
not relying on that. If you even watch recently, if you watch Ezomobi have emerged with settlers. So these are also a sign telling us something.
Yeah.
For me, agriculture is also another area that we need to put mind. Seriously, before I understand the Jubi, not the Apata Diego. But in the grandfather and one the Jubi.
Yeah.
But most of our personal financial difficult. Even if you do my way, do you? Yeah, but I'm not so. You can get all you go, but I'm not be. Yeah, people may but they do the big But if such a person have modern technology to do such farming, I bet you he can. In fact, he will go far than the So these are the areas I will encourage all of us to at least start putting hands in. Even I can even say, okay, academics too.
Yeah.
Academics is selling because some people are lecturers saying it at the echo, but it's not true.
Not anymore.
Yes, I can tell you can even stay in your house and be making money by intellectuals.
Yes.
You stay in your house, write review papers, they receive small money, you publish, you sell and make your money. So this is the areas we want to also can put my contribution.
Okay, Mbona. So before we let you go, because today we're actually running a short program, and because this is the last episode of this thing for this year, and before we let you go, you've watched some of the episodes for this year. I want to ask you to review what are some of those things we have discussed on this program within the last few years or program you would like to echo again as the last guest on the program for this year. So the next segment is a review of things that happened this year. That's not necessarily just on our program, but reflections of Oguta, Nigeria, in the year coming to an end in a few days. What would come to mind quickly?
Okay, going by the last the one I watched last week, I think Professor Afama named me.
Yes.
Sincerely, I enjoyed his talk very much. He's an erudite scholar. Sincerely, I know him in person.
Wow.
We met, yes. And if our people can go back and review his discussion here, try to pick some points. I asked a question and he replied me later, not immediate on the talk. He later replied and I received his answer. You see, all that we'll be talking here, sincerely, if our youth can try to learn from it, don't just take it as a play. Put it in writing. If I call someone, the vision is for appointed time. Write it down and run with it.
Yeah.
If you have a vision, write the vision down, run with the vision, irrespective of the obstacles, the challenges. Target your vision. I bet you in a short while you will testify that yes, I achieved the vision. That is my advice from all the programs I've been saying from the beginning. I think it's a good one for every one of us in Oguta.
Mbona. So what will be your final words from the Oguta, and then wish them a happy Merry Christmas on our behalf and Happy New Year as we wait to see them in the coming year?
What I would advise Christmas is Rihanna. I celebrate what I sign I sign can get good now, so I sign Udo. Mapana every Christmas na January na work a school. Yes,
and what are you where reform go moto?
Correct. Only one thing I did about na secondary school, okay, and I want to use that to advise people. And then in the show in Chanota. Okay, in secondary school. What a Christmas, they will not sell their shoe, sell their jeans, one, and when you buy them.
Because they go moto, where Richard have go moto.
Correct. So my advice is we are celebrating is a good one. Christmas it was celebrating. I name my Japan when you apply for you in January, I pick Kojishike. I wish everybody happy Christmas and prosperous New Year.
Mbona. Thank you very much again, Dr. Izog, for coming on the program.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Mbona. All right, that was Dr. Sunday Izogu, all the way from Lagos, and he's been an ardent listener of One Community Radio Oguta, and a wonderful contributor, and has made a lot of impact even before now and on today's episode, and did a wonderful job on review and discussion on this topic. Before we finally sign off, I just want to say a very, very big thank you to all those who have worked with us, contributed, assisted, sponsored, will use our live coverage and sponsored programs on Oguta One Radio from inception till now. We want to thank you all. And I also want to extend sincere apologies to so many people whose technology and man-made efforts made us to mix up or frustrate some of your live coverages and your live events. And some of those worthy to note is my sister, Dr. Ejine Okorafor, who's some of the clips from one of our events was stolen along with one of our cameras, and we couldn't deliver on the documentary we promised to do for her events, and we're still cracking our brain on how to work around it, and hopefully in the coming year we'll find a way to make it up. One of such too is my sister Zainab, that we mixed up the live coverage of a Thanksgiving event for her late brother, my brother, who passed away recently, and the Sunday Thanksgiving was mixed up because our new crew did not know the family that was giving Thanksgiving and focused our coverage on the wrong family, and this is my sincere apologies about that. And I thought we had something to salvage, but after checking it, she was focusing on the wrong group, and we really apologize. And for so many others too, numerous to mention, we apologize. We can only get better, and we promise we're getting better. I also want to especially thank my sister Efuru Mwakwa for the empowerment grants given to selected individuals in Oguta. This is a wonderful thing that is worthy of emulation, and we thank God to replenish the source from which you got it. And the Light Up Oguta Committee, the Otuosisioma, the Good Friends, and of course not forgetting all the other foundations and Professor Afam and plenty others who have in one way or the other contributing to empowering, supporting and training Oguta young people and paying teachers school fees. Not forgetting, of course, our home WhatsApp group, the Oguta Consigns of WhatsApp group, led by our sponsor Mary Ann Annie and Dr. Okwosha. We want to say a very big thank you to you all, and our able producer Evangelist Henry Okorore, who has been doing all the great works to make sure that this program has been on as when scheduled and bringing all the guests. We just want to thank you all and say please do join us again in the next year when we'll start another series of wonderful programs. Thank you and God bless you, and Merry Christmas in advance and a wonderful New Year.